welcome to the podcast. How are you?
Good, thank you, Ruth. How you going?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me on here.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. I've been so excited. I've been looking forward to it all day. And I do like to start each episode just by asking each guest how we know each other.
I had to think about this because I wasn't sure if you had made a purchase, but then I looked at your review last night actually, and you were gifted one of the necklaces, the gratitude necklace,
Yeah.
and you left a lovely review on there. And I was like, oh wow, this is amazing. And then I guess we just followed each other, and since then we kind of just interacted through stories and our content, and now here we are. Just
Yeah.
it's wild where things can take us, hey.
The power of the internet. Like I remember
Yeah.
coming across your page on Instagram and I was like, oh my God, this stuff looks so cool. These products look
Oh,
amazing. And then I said it to my husband and I had a 40th coming up. These are the things that I want. And it was like top of the list.
oh, wow. I appreciate you so much. I'm so glad you're part of our community, honestly. Yeah, thank you so much for this opportunity. It's
No,
amazing.
you're welcome. You're welcome. So tell us a little bit about your business and how it came about.
This is a bit of a long one. I'll try and keep it short and sweet, but ever since I was a kid, I loved fashion and accessorizing. And when I got into high school, I knew that I wanted a business, but I didn't know what I wanted. I was like, oh, this it looks cool to have a brand, but I don't know what I want to do yet. And of course, back then there was not a lot of information out there on how to start a business, how to start a brand. Whereas now you can just Google it and there's so much information out there. Then come university, I started working and I was saving a little bit. And then I thought, you know what, let's take a risk and just start something. And so I thought, what's the smallest, least most risky part to kind of launch? And I thought of jewelry because I always used to wear jewelry and make my own headbands and belts and things as a kid. So I thought, let's do jewelry. But at the time, I was trying so hard to be different and now I want it to be cool and different. How do I do that? So I was trying to get jewelry that was quite out there and I launched it and it was called Lady Esah to begin with. And I think that was about 5 years ago now in 2018. And I thought to myself, you know what, let's just see how this goes. This is just like a little creative project and
Mhm.
I'm just going to put this amount of money into it. And if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, at least I tried and I ticked that off my list of things to try. It kind of grew from there. It was a very slow start. I was just happy to have like an order or two a month. And I would celebrate every single order. Come 2019, and that was the pivotal moment for the brand. And that was the beginning of COVID. My day job, I am a teacher. I went to uni and graduated with a degree in early childhood and started working as a teacher with kids with special needs. I've always wanted to help people in some way. Like that was just, I think that's the root of what fills my purpose is that I want to help people. I want to see people progress, live their best lives in some way. And that's how I got into teaching. But I love the creativity part. So I was like, okay, let's do the side business and jewelry and all the fashion kind of stuff in that way. So COVID started. And to be honest, my mindset was just not, I think like everyone else's, it was not at its best state. Everyone was so uncertain. And being a teacher at the time, I'm sure with like everyone else, it was just what are we doing? What's going to happen? There was just a lot of changes, and I think all that uncertainty got to my head. I was starting to self-doubt, and all of that self-doubt kind of bled into every single part of my being. There was that moment in time when we were allowed to go to the park. Do you remember that?
Yes.
You were allowed to go out to the park in groups of 10 or less. And that was a time when me and my family were like, okay, let's go out to the park. And I guess it was a blessing in disguise because that's when it forced me to slow down and actually get back into creativity and actually start sketching. And so I have my little notebook, my sketchbook, which I think I showed on Instagram the other day. I started sketching while we were at the park. And because we were all just inside, I just loved being out there and I started sketching. And at the time, I found myself surrounded by affirmations. My screensaver was an affirmation. You know, I tried meditating and it started off with affirmations. And even though I was a bit like, oh, it's a bit woo-woo for me, I started to realize how much it really impacted my mindset. Even if it stopped you thinking and catastrophizing, it was enough for you to pivot and go, you know what? No, I'm going to stop that and let's think this way, not down into a spiral. And then I had a light bulb moment and it was merging those two ideas together. So I was like, why don't I just merge my love for sketching and drawing with my love for affirmations and then put it into jewelry. I thought to myself, I would want to wear my own mantra every day, because if I need it on my, screensaver and in my laptop screensaver to remind myself, why don't I just have it on a necklace? So that's when Affirmations 1.0 was born, and I launched that in end of 2019. And I was a little bit worried because I thought, I don't know how this is going to go. And I put a little bit more money into it, and it started to get a little bit popular and people were actually loving it. And so 2020, I got a lot of feedback and people loved it. And that's when version 2.0 came out. And that's when the Manifest necklace came out, the Gratitude necklace came out. It's just, here we are. I think we've found the essence of the brand, and not just a jewelry brand. It's a community, us supporting each other and actually cheering each other on. And we're here to go, okay, you're on your own journey in life and you need like a healing necklace. I'm going to give you that energy. I hope that you trust the process, and that I hope that you know that it'll be okay. And it's like, even though I'm doing this full time now, and I miss teaching in some ways, in the fact that, I miss seeing my little ones grow and progress, and that I'm there to help them. But I'm seeing that in my community now, which is, it's fulfilling that side of things where I'm like, I get to talk to you, I get to connect to random women and men online, as in like in a good way, obviously.
Yeah.
That didn't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Got that one out. But yes, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, you don't have to cut it out, but yeah. And yes, that's just the long story short, I guess, is that's how it came to be. And here we are.
And
It's
it
it's
does make such a difference. Like, I don't wear a huge amount of jewelry. I've had these earrings that I've got. My best friend's got them for me when I was 16, years and years and years ago. The
yeah.
only time I've ever taken them out was on my wedding day. And then
Wow.
this necklace, one of your necklaces,
Oh,
every single day. I got halfway to work and not had it on and had to come back because I just don't feel, you
oh,
take your
bless.
clothes
Yeah.
off and
Oh, yeah. I
you
totally know what
can't
you
go through
mean.
the day without it.
Yep,
And
that's
there's so
me.
many times where I will just like, if I'm having a moment, like I'll just like play with it and it
Yeah,
helps.
yeah.
I just then start thinking. Um,
Mhm.
so yeah,
It
it's
almost becomes
very,
like a touch point of like a prompt
yes,
almost. And that's what I
absolutely.
find too. And so that's why I'm designing something that will help with that sensory kind of thing. And
Yeah,
yeah, I hope you
so
guys love
cool.
it. But
So
yeah, yeah. Oh,
cool.
I'm so happy that it connects with you in that way.
What's something that people misunderstand about your business or your job or your company?
Yeah. I think it's something that I misunderstood myself. When you start a business, any business, I guess, how many hats that you actually have to wear all of
Mm.
the time. And when you're starting the brand, yeah, it's all exciting and it's, all of your creative juices are flowing and it's great. And you launch it and you just let it kind of roll. But when you're in that, okay, I've started the brand, now I'm hoping to scale it to a certain point, and it's that gray area of okay, what do I do next, what do I do next, and okay, I don't know this part, I need to learn this. And I underestimated how chaotic your day to day can be, even though you have freedom in time and flexibility, but in
Yeah.
some ways you don't, because then it's up to you what you need to
Mm.
do, but then you have to get better at prioritizing which tasks to do first. And I think when you have worked for someone for a long time, in a way you already have your structure. In
Mm.
a way, I guess, in
Yeah.
my job anyway, there was a structure. And so these are your guidelines, and then you have a bit of freedom to do what you want. And in my job, it was teaching and resources and all that kind of stuff. But in this role as like a business owner, it's like, it's up to you. You're the boss. It's up to you. And so I think that's what I misunderstood. And I think a lot of people misunderstand is that there's actually so much more to it. And yes, you might see all the great things on social media, but yeah, there is a lot more that happens in the background and a lot more work that goes into it.
I'm glad that you touched on that because I think you're right. I think there is so much online, like, and there's a lot of, I suppose, aspirations towards being business owners or
Mm,
influencers or something where
yeah.
you have that control. And I think you're right that it's that interesting dynamics of the structure versus the freedom, and then the nine to
Mm,
five, and how much
yeah.
do you work, and where's the work-life balance,
100%.
and all of that stuff.
100%. It's like it depends on what kind of stress you want to deal with,
Right?
if that makes
Yeah.
sense. Like we all will go through some sort of stress, but what stress will you be able to deal with? Yeah, with structure or with freedom of choice. It's a different ball game, but if you're into it, totally go for it.
And I like
Yeah.
that you did it in like incremental steps as well. So anybody that's listening to the podcast that's thinking about it, who may think, oh, I can't go from this all the way from this 9 to 5 all the way to
Mm.
this place. It's like you can
Mm.
do it in stages that feels comfortable.
Yeah.
And it's almost sounded like you were assessing at every stage your next move.
100%. Yeah. So I started off as a little, okay, let's just go for it. That was the first step because I had the stability of a day job that fueled my, I guess, little side project. And that makes you feel a bit more comfortable about making risky decisions. I do encourage people, if you are going to start a little side business or a brand or something, that, yeah, do it that way, if to kind of feed in that capital so you don't feel so, I don't know, I guess, worried about losing that capital if it doesn't go to plan. And when it feels right and you've got the, if you're all in, when it's time to just invest your energy 100% in it. But yeah, I think I didn't go into it in the way that I thought I would. Like I took long service leave from my job because
Nice.
I was burnt out. I
Mm-hmm.
was burnt out from my job. Like I love it, but I think I was burnt out from a lot of things. Like you probably know that I had a miscarriage in 2022, and then being me, I love being busy. I love being busy, but then I use that as a way to distract myself from what was actually happening inside. And
Okay.
that was the issue. And so,
Mm-hmm.
bam, bam, you're busy with events, family. Okay, go out, do this, do that, clean the house, and then comes to your day job, and your cup is so empty that you don't realize, and you have nothing else to give. So, really listen to your body. But I guess it's a blessing in disguise that
Yeah.
I had to burn out to realize what I really needed. Yeah,
And sometimes
everyone's
that
just,
happens, right? And that's
yeah,
where the learning comes in, isn't it?
yes, the beauty of learning
And
how things turn out.
if you had to pick one or two things, what would you say is the thing that you enjoy most about your job?
It's a hard one. I love a lot of things. Top of my list is probably the creative side of things. I love the product design. I love making any content, anything to do with graphic design. I love all of that, the email marketing and social media content. And then the second one is probably just connecting with the community and actually being able to connect with people around the world, cheer people on, and you don't even know them, but you can feel that support. And yeah, I think that's the most beautiful thing, that when people message me as well, they're like, hey, just letting you know that I had this necklace and it's helped me through this, this, and this. Like it honestly blows my mind that, like, wow, like this necklace, I knew that was going to help me in a very simple way, but I didn't think it would do this for this many people. So
Yeah.
I think that's probably, I think that beats the first one. That's probably top of my list now that I think of it. Yeah, it's amazing. I'm really, yeah, grateful that I get to do this for people. So
The diversity of the community, like, is just wild, right?
it's wild, wild. Yeah, we had Alex, yeah, the first male to be on our page, and it was lovely for him to send a photo through and share it with the community, and to be like, you know what, this is not just for females. This isn't just, it's for everyone. This is for everyone. And yeah, that's what I want it to become. It's going to become like just for everyone,
Everybody.
everyone and anyone. Yeah.
So excited. You're starting a movement.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I know. I think that's what I want to call it. Yeah, it's like a
Yeah,
movement almost. Yeah,
absolutely.
it's a movement. And I'm excited. I'm excited.
And where do you see yourself in 5 years' time?
There's so many things, but I guess I'd love to keep doing this Esha&Co full time at a much greater scale, put ourselves on the map somewhere, and make it not just a jewelry brand, but a community brand. And not just release jewelry, but have more wholesome events where we can all come together in different cities and we all get to connect, do all these self-love kind of activities and network and cheer each other on and in person. I think that would just be amazing. Like just share more good vibes all around. And yeah, I think that's what I'd want to happen in 5 years' time, hopefully earlier. I still love teaching so much. I think I do see myself starting a brand in the education space. That's just in the vision board. I've started to work on it little by little, but we'll see. We'll see.
Manifest it, right?
Yeah, manifest it and take action.
I saw on your website, I was just saying to my husband Ahmed this morning that you've got the candy box range. And I was like,
Yeah.
I was nudging because my birthday's around Easter. And I have a
Oh,
better tradition. I always want something from you like
when's
on
your birthday? When
so 2nd of
exactly?
April.
2nd of April. That's my
Yeah.
brother's birthday.
Oh, no
My
way.
sister's in on the 9th and I'm on the 8th. So April is a busy month for us. So yeah, we're all
Oh,
the
you're
same
Aries
month.
as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. There you
Aries.
go, Aries Club. There we go. Maybe you know what? I'll just send you a little surprise. So
No. I think what a better like than an Easter egg for somebody. Like it's still
Mhm.
candy themed, it's so on theme, like the time of year is perfect. What a gift.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. No, I'm so glad you see it that way. Yeah, I just that one was a random idea. Those are the ones that I was like, what? What if I just made this? That was random. I don't even remember how I thought of it. I remember the sketchbook. I just found the page and that was a year and a half ago that I just sketched it
Oh.
down and it just came to my mind. I was like, oh, this
And
will
it's
be
so
fun.
cost effective as well because you can make up so many different
Mm.
variations. And what was one question that you would hope I was going to ask that I didn't ask, and how would you have answered it?
I had trouble with this one. Yeah, I thought maybe we could get into the design process and how that all kind of works out because I do this on my own and it's like a team of one. And so I think it'd be so interesting to kind of share how that kind of pans out. So, yeah, so the design process, I did share a bit about it on my Instagram, but it's all very personal. When I do it, it's not just, okay, it's time to design a new collection and I need to release it next month. It all comes with intuition and feeling. And if it doesn't feel right, it doesn't feel right. If it does, then it will release. And I always start off with if I'm out in nature, I have my sketchbook with me. Ideas come to me. Sometimes it comes so randomly. I could just be sitting on the couch and then sometimes I have this flow of ideas and then I have to write it down or I have to sketch it straight away. Otherwise, it just goes out the window. The next step over time, those sketches will evolve and it'll change, and I'll start noting some more kind of details onto it. And I'll eventually kind of draw the canvas with the shape of the pendant, and then it'll just come together like that. And yeah, eventually we have the final piece and we launch that. The next couple of collections, what I really want to do is involve the community more. So you might have seen, Ruth, on Instagram that I'm asking a lot more from the community on what they would like to see. And yeah, the next few videos, I'm hoping in the next couple of weeks, it's more about asking, okay, which shape do you guys want and what elements do you want in a necklace? And then I actually draw it with you guys. I just see like a whole collection just made by the community. I think that would be so cool.
Do the images come to you first and then the words, or is it sometimes the words and then the images?
Sometimes it's both
Yeah.
or either. It's random like that. And it comes with the business too. Like when I decide on things, I might not have the answer then and there. And then I'm just, I don't know, cleaning the house and all of a sudden light bulb moment and that's it. And I have to write it down and there's my, I guess, design or solution to something. It just comes.
Wow. I'm not
How do you?
creative at all. So to hear somebody's brain that works like that is literally like a different
Oh,
language. Like it's amazing.
it's interesting because yeah, in while I was teaching, you often have to be on the spot and be creative with things. But if you
Mm.
say put me in a room in a meeting and you ask me a question and you want me to come up with a solution, sometimes I might not have anything then and there. You need to give me about an hour or a day for me to come up with something. But even then, yeah, it's quite random. I don't know. It's strange.
Wow.
Brain works in weird ways. Yeah, that was the point. It's like because I was over buying, a pair of earrings, for
Yeah.
$50 every single time. So why not make it fun? So I have a code for your listeners so they can use BTSG15 for 15% off and they can use it anytime. Yeah, we have a few coming out. But I won't share too much, but it will be called My Story. So
Ah, okay.
I'm excited by it. It was supposed to launch next month, but I don't know if it's going to be ready by then. But think of it as like the candy box idea, but for necklaces.
And just in time for my birthday.
Yeah, yes, and that you've got a code there, but I think I'll put in an extra candy box in there for you, Ruth.
Oh, well, thank you. It's been amazing having you on the podcast. And can you just
Oh,
remind
I love it.
me of what your Instagram is?
Yes, so you can follow me on Instagram at Esah&Co _, and also on TikTok as well. It's Esah&Co.